Hi, this is Rupa Prasad, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, MITS DMOTP University. So today I'm going to discuss a topic called as process versus thread. This is the topic which we are going to present today. So coming to the contents of this presentation, we have these contents. So first we are going to introduce the concept, what actually why we require this concept. Then we go for what is a process and what is a thread. Then we discuss about the characteristics of a process as well as a thread. Then we go for the what is the connection between the operating system and this process and thread. Then we talk about the difference between process and thread. Then we go for the memory representation. Then we discuss about the process life cycle. Then we discuss the important concept that we call it as context switching. And finally, we go for the concept called as multi-threading. So, multitasking is one of the main thing that is done by the operating system. And for this, you know what do you mean by multitasking? Multitasking means performing multiple tasks simultaneously. And to perform this multitasking, there are some core concepts are there, and these core concepts that are what we are going to discuss today. That is a process and thread. Okay, suppose whenever we open some applications, so whenever we open some applications like we can say Chrome browser, YouTube, MS Word, or Spotify, any application. So whenever you open the application, multiple activities, you may notice that multiple activities happen simultaneously. Just say for example, you open Chrome browser. Okay, so what we can do in the browser, we can use the browser to play the video. At the same time, we can keep the files for download, and as well as it load the web pages and respond to user actions. Okay, so all these are performing at the same time. Okay, that we call it as a multitasking. So what happens? So what? How does the system manage all these activities? Means by using the two most important concepts that we call it as a process and thread. Okay, that is the core concepts of multitasking in the operating system. So coming to what is a process? A process is a program that is currently executing, or we can say a process is a program in execution. When we open an application, that we call it as a process. Okay, a process is a program that is currently executing. And inside this process, smaller execution units called threads perform individual tasks. So, operating system manages these process and threads to achieve multitasking, faster execution, better CPU utilization, and improved user experience. Okay, so these are the most core important concepts for multitasking in the operating system, as well as the multitasking, and it also supports with faster execution and better CPU utilization and improved user experience. Okay, then we discuss about what is a process and what is a thread. Coming to process, so what is a process? As we have already said, a process is simply a program. Simply a program in execution. Whenever we start executing the program, that we call it as a process. That we call it as a process. Say for example, when we open an application like Chrome or MS Word or any application, the operating system creates a process for it. That we call it as a process. And this process is having a four section, that is it is having the program code, it is having the data, it is having its own memory, and it is having their system resources. And every process works independently from other process. There is a main thing we have to understand, that is every process works independently from other process. For example, suppose you open one application called Chrome, another one application you have opened, that is MS Word. Okay, so whenever this Chrome crashes, the Word continues working. That is, if Chrome crashes, the Word will not shut down. Okay, Word application will not shut down. That means what? Every process is separately running. These the two processes are separately running. That we call it as a process. Simply, we can say a program in execution. A process is a program in execution. And coming to thread, what is a thread? A thread is the smallest unit of execution inside a process. Okay, it is inside the process. It is the smallest unit of execution inside the process. And a process may contain one or more threads working simultaneously. And these threads share the same memory and resources of the process, making the execution faster. In the beginning, we said that the concepts like process and thread makes the execution faster. How the execution is going to be done faster means because the threads same the same memory as well as the resources. For example, inside the browser, one thread handles a UI, that is a user interface. Another thread is going to handle the video, and another thread is going to handle the downloads. Okay, Chrome browser is one, that Chrome application is one process. Within one process, multiple threads operate individually. So what will happen? This will allow the multitasking within the same application. Within the same application, we are performing multitasking. That means at the same time you are going to interact with the user. Suppose you have downloaded one file. Okay, file is getting downloaded in the browser. At the same time, you can able to interact with the interface. That is, you can able to click some buttons, or you can be able to browse some other data we can do. Okay, so how it is happening means with the help of the threads only. And we take one example, that is a real-time analogy. So we take an example of a restaurant. Okay, so restaurant is the best example for process as well as versus thread. So we consider the restaurant as one process. So restaurant is one process and workers are the threads. Okay, in a restaurant there are multiple workers are working. Some workers are going to cook, some are going to chop, some are going to serve, some are going to act as a waiter, and some are act as a cashier. All these workers, all these people, all these threads belongs to the same process that we call it as a thread. Okay, that means inside one process, we can have multiple threads. All are performing their task individually, separately within the same application. That is the best example we can say for the process as well. Process versus thread. Okay, we are considering the restaurant as a single process. That is, restaurant is complete entity, whereas a worker can be treated as threads. Workers perform different tasks simultaneously. That is multitasking within the same application. And coming to the characteristics of a processes are called heavyweight process. Heavyweight. We are calling the processes as heavyweight because the process needs a separate memory and they require some system resources, and communication between one process to another process is slower. Okay, and every process is having their code section, data section, heap section, and the stack section. Okay, in order to organize the process, we are going to maintain the memory like code section, data section, heap section, and the stack section. Okay, and this is memory for process B. It is also having the code section, data section, heap section, as well as a stack section. Okay, and this is having a separate memory space. Process A is having the separate memory space, and process B is having the separate memory space. So we call the process as a heavyweight process because they need separate memory. They require system resources, and communication between the processes is slower. And every process is having the code section, stack section, heap, as well as a data section. Okay, next coming to the characteristics of a thread. Thread is called as a lightweight process, whereas a process is called as a heavyweight process. Thread is called as a lightweight process. Why we are calling it as a lightweight process means because they are going to share the resources of the parent process. Parent is having the process is having the memory, and that memory is shared by the threads. That memory is shared by the threads. That means one process can have multiple threads. All the threads are going to share the same memory that is allocated for a process. So we call the threads as a lightweight process. Lightweight process. So unlike process, it is also having a separate stack and registers. Only these are maintained separately. Remaining all will be same of the process that will be shared by the threads. For example, consider this as one process. Here the process is having a separate memory in order to maintain the code, in order to maintain data and heap. But stack and registers are maintained separately for each thread. Now here check this one. This is having multiple threads. That is this process is created 3 threads, and 3 threads share the same code section space, data section, as well as heap section. But the stack and registers are having separately for each thread. Okay, so that's why we are calling the thread as a lightweight process, whereas a thread is a heavyweight. And we just talk about the connection between the operating system, process, and the thread. So what actually the concept is, operating system creates a process. So whenever the user opens an application, a process will be created. That means the application is being executed, and that we call it as a process. And threads inside the process perform the execution task. So inside the process, the execution task is performed by the thread. That is the main connection. This thing is important to remember, to understand. Okay. So what the operating system is going to do means it is going to create the process, and process contains the threads, and thread execute the task. That is a scenario. Operating system creates a process contains threads, and threads execute the task. Okay. So operating system for example, consider the example, operating system creates a Chrome process. Suppose a user has opened the Chrome, then the operating system creates a process for it. So inside the Chrome process, UI thread is created. Suppose a user for the interaction to the interface, UI thread is created. For video content, video thread is created, and download thread is created by the process. Okay, and all the threads execute simultaneous. That is a basic connection between the operating system, process, and the thread. And that we can see in this example. So we have taken one browser example, that is a Chrome example we have taken. So this is one process. So this browser is one process, and this process is having the code section, data section, heap section, and this section also, and that is shared by other three threads. So what are the threads created here? One is for the UI interface, one is for the video, and one is for the download. So three threads are created, and the thread is having the individual stack and the registers, and they share the common this one, that is the data section, code section, and the heap section. So in one process we are having three threads. That is multitask, that is used for the multitasking, so faster execution as well as the multitasking. Okay. And coming to difference between the process and the thread. So what we are going to say, process is an independent program in execution, whereas a thread is a smaller unit of execution. And as we have already discussed, a process is a heavyweight and thread is a lightweight. Why we are calling it as a heavyweight? Because it is having a separate memory space. Why we are calling this as a lightweight? Because it shared the memory space. Same memory space of the process is shared by all the threads, and it requires more resources, it requires less resource. Okay, whereas communication between the process is slower, whereas the communication between the threads is faster because they share the same memory, so the communication will be faster. And the creation takes more time, whereas creation takes less time. And the process switching, that is moving from one process to another process, is slower, whereas moving from one thread to another thread is faster. Okay, failure of one process usually does not affect the others. Why? Because the processes are independent. So one process is not related to the other process. So if that process fails, it does not much more affect on the others. But if one thread fails, it may affect the entire process. Why? Because the the threads are created within the process. So these are some of the differences of a process as well as a thread. And next, coming to the memory representation, and we have already said about this memory representation. Once again, we will check in the diagram. This is a process memory representation. Every process maintains a memory like this. So it is having a code section, data section, heap section, that is for the dynamic memory allocation, and for the stack section is there. So this is a process memory representation, and whereas this is a thread memory representation. So this is a one process. Within the one process, we are using multiple threads. So all the threads are going to share the same heap, data as well as the code, but it is having separate memory for the stack as well as the registers, stack representation in the registers. So this is the memory representation of a process as well as a thread. And coming to next one, that is a process life cycle, which is very important. So whenever the process is it is having some states. Every process is having some states, and there is a movement from one state to another state. So a process, whenever a process is created, it will be in the new state. It will be in the new state. So whenever it is admitted, so whenever it is ready for the execution, so it enters into the state called as a ready state. It enters into a state called as a ready state. That means it is ready to get the CPU allocation. So whenever a CPU has been allocated by the operating system, that we call it as a scheduler, or we can call it as a dispatcher. So it enters into the state called as a running state, where actual process is going to execute, where the program is going to be executed. So whenever the program is executing, some IO operations are required by a process, or some interruption can occur. So whenever an interruption or IO process need to complete, IO operation need to complete, the process again comes back to the ready state. From the running state, it comes back to the ready state. So it will be in the ready state up to the completion of the operation. Okay. Or for example, if the process has to perform some IO operation, so it comes out of the CPU and it enters into the waiting state, or we can call it as a blocked state. After the IO operation complete or some event completes, it again enters into the ready state. Or else a process, if another process want to execute, it comes to the ready state. Okay. So whenever it has been allocated to CPU, it comes to running state. After the execution of the process enters into a state called as a terminate state, which is the final phase. That means the process execution is complete. So this is a process life cycle. The process goes through these stages in order to complete the execution. So once again I will tell. So whenever a process is created, it will be the new state. So whenever the process is ready, is admitted, that is admitted, scheduler taken by the scheduler, that is a component of the operating system, it enters into a state called as a ready state. In this state, the process is ready for the CPU allocation. And whenever the CPU has been allocated, it enters into running state. Okay. Whenever the process has to perform some IO operation or some event has to happen, it enters into the waiting state. Okay. So sometimes what happens, another process want to execute. So this process is being permitted and kept in the ready state. So after the event completed, it once again comes from the waiting state to the ready state. From ready state, it goes to the running state. After the completion of the process, it enters into a state called as a terminated state. Thereby the process terminates. Thereby the process ends. It starts with the new state and ends with the terminated state. Next, coming to a very important concept that we call it as a context switching. As we have already said, the process enters from new state to ready state to running state. Okay, again running state to ready state, or it comes to the waiting state. So what happens, one process is coming to the ready state and again it is coming to the running state to ready state. So what happens, the process has to save its state. Okay, so that we call it as a context switching. That means what, a process a process of saving the state of one process or thread and loading the state of another process or thread is called as a context switch. So the process of saving the state of one process, or we can process, or it can be a thread, and loading the state of another process or thread is called as a context switching. In the name itself, we can say switching the context from one context to the other context. So it allows the CPU to switch between multiple tasks efficiently. Okay, so most operating systems support multitasking, concurrent execution, and multiple running applications. Since only one process can use a CPU at a time, so operating system has to switch between the processes. So we are saying multitasking. Multitasking means performing multitask simultaneously. That means at a time it won't perform, it performs simultaneously. So what happens, one task is being executed and meanwhile process goes out and new process will come to the picture. So the CPU can be used by only one process. So multiple process has to execute means what, the operating system has to switch from one process to another process. So before switching from one process to another process, it has to save the state of the old process and it has to load the state of the new process, and that we call it as a context switching. context switching. Suppose if I am moving from one to another, one process to another process, what I have to do, I have to save the state of the old process, then I have to load the state of the new process. That we call it as a context switching. And so operating system, for the context switching, what the operating system will do means, the operating system is going to save the program counter of the process. Program counter means it is a register which contains a current execution, okay, instruction, that is the address of the current execution. Okay, the address of the next instruction to be executed next, address of the instruction to be executed next. Program counter is a special purpose register which contains the address of the instruction that is to be executed next. For example, now in the process, the CPU is executing 10th instruction. So after the 10th instruction, what instruction has to be executed? 11th instruction. So that state will be stored in the program counter. So whenever the process has to be switched, the operating system is going to save the program counter of a process. Then it is going to save the CPU registers. Whatever the data is present in the register, that is, it is going to save, and it is going to save the state of the process, and it is going to save the stack pointer also. Okay, and this information is stored in one block that we call it as process control block. So process switching takes time. Okay, the switching of one process, saving the state of one process and loading the state of new process takes some time. Why? Because means a process state must be saved, another process state must be loaded, and that concept is called as a context switching overhead. What we call the time taken to save the state of an old process and load the state of a new process, the time gap is called as a context switching overhead. So it is called as a context switching overhead. And this can be explained by using this diagram. Okay, look at this diagram. So what happens, the operating system saves the state of the current process and loads the state of the another process. For example, see, here we are having process A and we are having process B. Okay, so what happens, the process A is currently executing in the CPU. Process A is currently executing in the CPU. So what happens, we have to execute the process B. The CPU has to execute the process B. So what the operating system is going to do means, before allocating process B, it is going to save the context of process A. It is going to save the context of the process A. That means the program counter, CPU registers, process stack, memory stack, all will be stored. Okay, after storing, what it is going to do, it will select the next process for execution, and it is going to load the context of the process B. Now we have to execute process B. CPU has to execute process B. So what all the operating system is going to do, it is going to load the status of process B. Okay, whenever the process B is loaded, state of the process B is loaded, the CPU starts executing process B. Okay, so whenever meanwhile, what happens? Process A is moved from the running state to ready state. It is moved from the running state to ready state. Okay, hope you understand. So what happens now? At present, CPU is executing process A. So it contains data about process A. Now process B has to be executed. So before switching to process B, what the operating system is going to do means, the operating system is going to save the state of process A. Then it is going to select the another process for execution, and that process state will be loaded. State of the new process will be loaded. As soon as it is loaded, the process is going to start. It is going to start the execution. Meanwhile, the process A is moved from the running state to ready state. Okay, so this is a context switching. This process is called as a context switching. Then coming to process can be switches as well as a thread can be switched. Okay, so process switching is slower. Whereas a thread switching is faster. Why you think it is slower? Because the states has to be saved and has to be loaded. Here threads are inside the process, so the thread switching is faster. Why? Because it requires a separate memory space. There is a separate memory space for each and every process, but thread is sharing the same memory, so thread switching is faster when compared to process switching. And it is having more overhead, whereas it is having less overhead. Because it switch very fast, the time will be less only. It switch slowly, so the time will be more. Okay, this is the basic difference between the process switching as well as the thread switching. So next, coming to another important topic, that we call it as multi-threading. So what is multi-threading? Multi-threading is the ability of a process to execute multiple threads simultaneously. So multi-threading is the ability. It is the ability of a process to execute multi-thread simultaneously. So why you are using multi-threading means, multi-threading is used for faster execution, better CPU utilization, improved responsiveness, and parallel task execution. So for this purpose, we are going for the concept called as a multi-threading. Multi-threading is used for faster execution, better CPU utilization, improved responsiveness, as well as a parallel task completion execution. So multi-threading allows a single process to execute multiple threads simultaneously using multiple threads. Okay, instead of creating a separate process, multiple threads share the same memory and resources. This improves the performance as well as the responsiveness. Okay, instead of creating multiple processes, what the operating system is going to do means, it is going to create multiple threads within the process. A process creates a multiple threads in order to perform the execution faster. And look at the diagram. So this is one single process. Okay, this process has created four threads. This process has created four threads, and the four threads are executing concurrently. Concurrently, the four threads are being executing. Okay, and these are going to share the same code section, data section, as well as a heap section. Okay, and the threads are this concept we are calling it as multi-threading. And multi-threading is widely used in modern real-time systems. For example, in web browser like Chrome, multiple threads handle user interaction. One thread is handling the user interaction, all as we already discussed. One thread is going to handle the video playback. One thread is going to handle the downloads, so that the execution will be faster. Instead of creating separate process, multiple threads are performing simultaneously. In the same manner, we can say the gaming application. So in a gaming application, multiple threads are used for graphic rendering, sound processing, and game logic. Suppose you are playing a game, sound will automatically come. Okay, that means sound will be handled by one thread. That graphic rendering is done by one thread, and game logic is done by another thread. And as well, in the same manner, multimedia applications use threads for audio, video, and buffering tasks. Similarly, banking systems and e-commerce applications use multi-threading to process multiple user requests efficiently. Thereby, we are going to improve the performance, we are going to improve the responsiveness, and overall user experience. So we'll see how it is going to improve the performance. So how it is improving performance means, multiple tasks execute simultaneously using different threads. For example, in a Chrome browser, one thread loads a web page, another plays the video, and another downloads the files. Since tasks run together, the applications were faster, or else the downloading will be slower, the video will be slower, and loading a web page is slower. So how we are getting that much of fastness means, because one thread is going to handle the task of loading a web page, another is going to play the video, another is going to download the file. Okay, thereby the performance can be improved. We can have the improved performance. And multi-threading also improves the responsiveness. That means what? So whenever we kept a file for downloading, okay, in a browser we kept a file for downloading, so we can keep the file for downloading, and still we can use the user interface. Is it right? We can click on something, and we can open the tabs, and video continues playing. Okay, that means application do not freeze. so downloading is going to happen. That's why application is not going to freeze. So how it is possible means multiple threads, because one thread is handling download, remaining threads are handling this one. So that we call it as a responsiveness. Okay. And coming to next one, that is it improves the user experience. How it is going to improve the user experience means, for example, you are browsing and at the same time music is going to play, and you are going to receive, for example, you are working something, okay, and in a mobile, so and instantly you are getting the notifications also, and we are going to go for another application easily. Okay, that is a better experience for the user. And coming to the again, we can take the restaurant example only. So different workers, the handle restaurant is one process. In that process, different threads will be workers are there. So one thread is going to take order. That is, one worker is going to take the orders. One is going for the cooking. One is doing billing. One is serving simultaneous. So that is for the faster experience. Consider there is only one person in the restaurant. He has to take the order, he has to cook, he has to bill, and he has to serve. That takes so much of time. So instead of that one, we are having multiple people. One guy is going to take the orders. So that guy will give the instructions for cooking. He will cook. Then another will serve, another will do the billing. So there is a some customers are better, faster experience, faster service will be there, and there is a better experience. In the similar manner, multi-threading also allows application to perform multiple tasks efficiently. Okay, and so this is my presentation. So if you want to have, if you are having any queries or questions, you can go to this form and you can give your query. And these are the references which I have followed for this preparing of the presentation. Hope you understand. Thank you.